If you are in the market for a zero turn for the very first time, then this video is for you. Here at Howe Equipment, we know that the zero turn buying process can be confusing. So we have had the opportunity to help countless numbers of people every year make that zero turn purchase, a lot of them being for the very first time. And with that, we have had an opportunity to learn what sort of questions are the best ones to consider, and we've narrowed it down to a precise list of the 5 questions you should consider before buying your first zero-turn mower. The first thing I would consider is, what is my yard size and what is the terrain? So when I say yard size, it's how many acres are you mowing? That is a huge indicator of what sort of zero-turn you should buy. So find your acreage, look that up online, and find out what range of mowers would fit your acreage. And then secondly, what is the terrain? Are there lots of hills? Are there undulations? Is it rough terrain? Ask yourself, what is the makeup of my yard? Because that will influence what sort of zero turn you should buy. If it is rough terrain, that's where you might want to consider upgraded seats, upgraded frame suspension, something that helps you stay comfortable when mowing your property. The next thing I would consider is the overall structure. So what is the engine, what are the transmissions, and what is the cutting deck size? When it comes to engine, the most common ones you'll find on a zero turn are Briggs & Stratton, Kohler, and Kawasaki. This is a Kawasaki. We probably find ourselves selling the most of a Kawasaki engine. The engine itself controls blade tip speed as well as overall output of the machine. Transmissions are what control the speed of your machine and are found underneath the wheelbase on either side of your zero turn. So most residential models will have sealed units, meaning you cannot service them. So if you are someone that likes to service your machines, maybe look into getting something that is serviceable. And then lastly, ask yourself, what sort of cutting deck do I want? There's 2 types of cutting decks. Number 1, there's stamped. That means it's pressed steel into the shape of a cutting deck. And 2, there's fabricated. Fabricated is actually welded steel. So fabricated decks are much more durable than the stamped decks. Stamped decks are great because you save on a price point, and if you have a small property, they're pretty ideal if you have a very easy yard. And then secondly, how big of a cutting deck do you want? Most brands will start at about a 42-inch cut and go up to a 60-inch cut in residential. 72 inch is usually the maximum in a commercial. So usually it's the bigger cutting deck you get, the more time you can ideally save, but make sure you ask yourself, do I have any tight spaces to where maybe a 50 or a 60-inch cutting deck will not fit? And if that's the case, maybe stay under that 50-inch mark. But if you have a couple acres and it's pretty open, that's where I think it's very ideal to go bigger than a 50-inch cut. So make sure you're asking yourself those questions before you buy. The next thing to consider is comfort. Do you have a rough yard to where an upgraded seat or frame suspension would go a long way? Or maybe you're someone who you're just at the point where you just want added comfort when you mow. I think comfort is a big deal to consider when buying. If that's you, then maybe Toro's My Ride suspension or Bad Boy's rubber isolators will go a long way if comfort is your priority. The fourth thing, and maybe the most important, is what is the warranty and what sort of dealership support will you get after your purchase? When you've narrowed down your decision to the zero turns you want, make sure you look up what sort of warranty they offer. That is a big deal to know what sort of coverage you'll have as you start using your machine. And then with that, if you're buying from a dealer, make sure you understand what sort of dealer support they can offer you. Do they do warranty claims? Do they stock parts for your machine? Do they even service what they sell, period? Those are things to figure out. What sort of dealer support are you going to get after the sale? That can make all the difference between having a great purchasing experience and a horrible one in the long term. And then lastly, I would say consider what price point you're willing to spend. I think doing your homework on all the prior things we've discussed in this video will lead you to understanding maybe what price point to expect when buying a zero-turn mower. And maybe you come to that buying process and you're stuck between a few models. My advice to you is, if price point is the holding factor between it, if it is within your means and you're not stretching yourself too thin, I would always recommend stepping up slightly versus stepping down. From what we've heard in customers' feedback, I think most people are happy that they stepped up into a zero turn and maybe got a little bit more than they needed in the moment. Because in the end, buying a zero turn is a long-term investment. And with that in mind, sometimes stepping up can actually be the better decision for the long term. So now that we've got the framework, let's use each of these considerations to provide an example of maybe how you can use these parameters to make a wise decision for yourself. So number 1, for yard size and terrain, let's say we've got about an acre yard that's relatively flat, not too many hills, it's a pretty easy yard. Number 2, the engine, deck, and transmissions. Let's say we've done our research and we like a Kawasaki Kawasaki engine. The transmissions, we know we're residential, we're okay with them being that level. And we know for about an acre, we don't want to go bigger than a 50-inch cutting deck. So we're looking for 42 to 50. And we know we want a fabricated deck. Comfort's not the biggest consideration, but we do know long-term, we're hoping this mower lasts us a good amount of years. So we want some good comfort to it, but that's not our #1 desire. For warranty and dealership support, we're looking for something that has at least a 2-year warranty, and we definitely want a dealership that's going to be able to service, stock parts, and do any sort of warranty claims that we need. And then price point, what am I willing to spend? I want to stay within that $4,000 to $5,000 price point. So there's our framework. Again, here at Howe Equipment, being a Toro and Bad Boy dealer, we'll give you those equivalents to kind of see what would be the best decision for you. So on the Toro side, I definitely think a 50-inch time cutter is going to be a great option for you. That retails at $38.99. And on the Bad Boy side, I think a Bad Boy Magnum, a 48-inch deck with that Kawasaki engine would be a good option. That retails at $41.79. So we found what 2 mowers are most ideal for us there. So there you have it, the most important things to consider when buying a zero-turn mower for the very first time. If you're interested in learning more about zero turns, we'll link a couple of good videos that we've filmed that really educate you on zero turns in general and maybe give you tips in the buying process. But as always, thank you for watching the videos. Drop a like if you learned something, subscribe to our channel for more content like this, and comment down below what sort of videos are you hoping to see. We like reading through those comments to get some ideas, so let us know down below. But as always, thank you for support, thank you for watching, we'll see you on the next one.